All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Roger Morgan. I'm the founder and CEO of Pottery, and I am joined today by four amazing pet pros who have incredible competency using the tool that we are going to be talking about today, the Pet Profile. So just can't wait to hear from each one of you guys. So happy to have with us. We've got Amy Johnson, we've got Alex Lee, we've got Joey Lee, and Kathleen Langsdale, and all of them are fabulous individuals, human beings, pet parents, leaders in pottery, and extraordinary examples of how to take this pet profile and make a big impact on your business and make a big impact on the lives of pets by helping use this tool. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Using this tool and getting the most out of it for you and for pets and for your business. So with that, why don't we just start? Here's the way I thought we could organize this. We'll start by just sharing, letting these guys share with you why this tool should be your best friend. Then once you kind of get an understanding of why it's a great tool, then we'll talk about some best tips for how to get people to take a pet profile with some words to say and some different tactics and strategies that these guys are using. And then we will turn into some tactical tips of how do you actually use the pet profile as people are getting that information? How do you use that information to help generate a sale? So those are the three buckets that we will talk about. And I will just start by saying, from my perspective, when I think about the pet profile, which by the way was part of the brainchild when I started the company, we launched with the pet profile. I really felt that that was an incredibly important part of what we were doing because I watched consumer after consumer walk up to that pet store aisle, that pet food aisle, and look like a deer in the headlights going, what in the world is the right food to feed for my pet? And that was just for food, let alone are there other things that I could be using to incorporate into my pet's health and wellness that would help my pet be healthier and happier? And it really is overwhelming. In my experience, talking to pet parents all around literally the world over 2 decades, I find that pet people generally want to do the right thing for their pets. A lot of the times they don't know what the right thing is. And so they do their best. They're all doing their best. And we
Yeah.
have a tool here to help them do even better. And so I like to think about the pet profile as the tool that helps you guys. You don't need to know it all. You don't need to be an expert in nutrition. I'm not an expert in nutrition. I'm not a veterinarian. I'm not a nutritionist, but I care deeply about pets, and we put together a program with this tool that allows you guys to also not be the experts and not need to be the experts. You just need to invite people to complete it and let the pet profile do the work. Super simple. So Joey, let me start with you. I know you've got some passion around this and the way that you use this. Tell us, why is this tool a wonderful companion and a wonderful tool for pet pros to use?
Yes. Well, I remember back when I was a little baby pet pro and I was in that exact same position that Roger was talking about, where I was literally going through the aisles, checking prices, checking ages and the ingredients for what I thought that I knew. And so I've been in that position. And what I really loved about when I joined Pottery is that there was the customized pet nutrition plan. I could just put in my pet's information and it gave me the info. And so I love that as a brand new pet pro, I didn't need to know everything. And I very much teach my brand new pet pros the same thing. I was just talking to a brand new pet pro today. One of her best friends was like, yeah, I can try something out for you. I can help you out. And she's like, okay, great. Now what do we do? I said, have her fill out a pet profile. And then that way you guys can see what is going to be the product that's going to help her the best. And so I really like to teach new pet pros to just go in there and be walking people through it or have people fill it out because they, a lot of times pet pros, they want to know everything before they get started. And this is a perfect tool to just say, fill out the pet profile and we can go over the results. And then the pet pro is actually learning what issues and what supplement helps with which issues.
Love it, love it, love it. Amy, how about you? Why is this tool, in your opinion, such an important tool for any new or seasoned pet pro?
I think the tool highlights things that a lot of people don't even realize are issues. Like some people are like, oh, every dog has gas. every dog has, this problem and is itchy. And so what happens is as your customers are walking through the pet profile and they see gas, like, they have something for gas. I mean, sign me up. My corgi is gassy, so I get it, right? But when you see that, and sometimes even itching, oh wait, itching is not normal. I thought dogs just itched all the time. So it helps to also highlight things. So maybe the person just chooses to do the pet profile because of one particular issue, but it's going to show them other things that that customer might not have even realized that we have a solution for. That is a problem. So it's going to up your sale instead of just, hey, I'm going in for this specific issue. Then go, wait, you can help with gas. Wait, you can help with picky eating. Hold on, you can help with allergies. Like, you're sharing more products and more solutions with them than without having to go, oh, wait, we have this. Oh, wait, and we have that. And, you're not throwing up on your customers. You're sending them a
Love it.
tool that highlights it for them. And again, it's so easy, like Joey said, for brand new people to just offer this tool and be like, hey, just go fill out this tool and let's get you some custom recommendations, instead of feeling like, well, I have to wait until I'm the expert. 2 years in, I'm still not the expert. That tool's amazing.
Exactly. I will tell you, 10 plus years in, and I use the pet profile every single time I talk to somebody. I don't try to surgically go in and tell them what, even though I might know because I know what products work for certain things, that it's such a great tool because it gets, even for the customer, it gets everything in one place. The information's there, the answers are there, the profiles are for you to see, to refer back to continue to come back to consult with them on what they could do next. So it's just a wonderful starting point for any conversation. Kathleen, I know you have, one of the things that you really like about the pet profile is how it helps educate the pet pro and the customer, but on the why of each product. Can you elaborate a little bit on that and what it is you like about that?
Sure, Roger. Because like I think Joey said, and maybe Amy said also, a lot of times, number one, we don't know the issues, but people don't know why the pet profile might recommend GastroPro Plus, and the customer's like, well, why? Why do I need that? So again, as a pet pro, you don't need to know all the why. The why is right there in front of you. And not only are you educating the customer, but guess what? You're getting educated too. You do 3 of those pet profiles and those products pop up and tell you why. The next time somebody mentions that symptom, you want to refer them to pet profile, but in your head you're going, I know what they need. They need the gastro.
You know why?
They need the joint. We know. And so it takes the daunting, oh my gosh, what do I do now? I'm new. I don't want to talk to anybody because I won't know what to tell them. We don't have to do that. It's all right there.
It really, when you think about this business that you guys are in, anybody watching this, we're in the business of duplication, right? We do something, we get some success, we go invite somebody else to do it and help them get some success. They go invite somebody else to do it and help them get some success. So even after somebody has completed, which I'm sure all 4 of you, including myself, all 5 of us have probably completed hundreds, maybe thousands of pet profiles over our various, time in Pottery. But I would say, whether you're a brand new person or a very seasoned person, to continue to use that pet profile, because it also helps train that new person who's watching, that new customer that you're helping. They might be thinking to themselves, oh, wow, this is kind of fun. Look how Amy's taking me to this. And she really looks like she knows a lot, but it's actually because it's all right here in front of her and she doesn't have to know that much. And I could actually do that too. Or boy, I could do like Alex does. He just shared with me this link and is helping advise me on something. I could share a link with somebody and help advise somebody. So I think it's a really, there's a lot of powerful reasons to continue using the pet profile, whether you're brand new and it's because it's your training ground, or because you're very experienced and you're using it as a duplication tool. Lots of good reasons to stick with that and keep using the pet profile. Now, one thing I'll mention before we go on to the second topic of how do you get people to take a pet profile and complete one. I know, Joey, you are a big advocate for just getting in there and playing around and setting up profiles. Tell us, what's the objective of that when you're kind of in this mode of, learning how to use the tool?
Yes. So in case you guys haven't gotten in there, if you're a brand new pet pro, go in there and play around with the pet profile. Don't worry, you cannot break it. It's okay to go and play with this technology, which I know some people are kind of scared of, but really go in there and just choose a different dog breed and choose some different ages and different weights on things. Maybe they're having different issues, or maybe they have all of the issues, and just see what kinds of things show up. And then even play around with this food shares food, or this dog shares food with this dog, and see what the differences are. And so go and make 8 of them. You can always delete them, but we really encourage you guys to just go in there, play around with them. Or even if you have someone that you can, maybe your mom has loads of dogs, or like Amy, she's got like 4 or 5 of them, I think, something like that. And so be like, hey, I know you have tons of dogs. Could I just come over and we could fill this out together and play around with this? It's a cool tool, and I really want to learn how to use this. So just be, leaning in on your friends. But again, you could also just be sitting there and do it yourself right at home.
I love it. I love it. The combination of either making them up, just kind of exploring yourself. It's like that Choose Your Own Adventure books, just kind of go in and figure it out and see where you land. But I love that one too, Joey, of asking friends, neighbors, family members to let you practice on them, because it really is practice as you kind of go through and learn together. And you never know, it might actually be a customer or a referral that comes out of that. So let's move on to our second section, which is how to get somebody or invite somebody to complete a pet profile. And what kind of words do you say? What kind of situations are you in? And I'm going to start with you, Alex, on this one. I think there's a lot of different ways that you can invite somebody to take a pet profile, but I think you've got one that's very interesting, unique, and one that's working for you. So can you tell us a little bit about how you use that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, it's no secret that Joey and I do a lot on social media. And what I really like most about the pet profile is it is an easy thing to direct people to, that are engaging with your content. And it could be a simple call to action like, hey, if you're interested in a free customized pet nutrition plan, go to the link in my bio, fill out this pet profile. People love talking about their pets. They love doing little quizzes and things, especially when it's about their pets. And what I personally love most about this approach is it's a way to kind of capture the lead. So they might not be interested in buying right away, but the number one activity that you can do to help grow your business or any business is list building. And the fact that you're getting people to come in, fill out a pet profile, selecting, hey, I might have a gassy corgi, or I have a dog that sheds a lot, different things like that. It gives you an opportunity to then follow up with them later. I mean, Joey and I have been doing this for a long time now, and we've seen, people that have filled out pet profiles in 2019, 2020, 2021 that have recently started, recently became customers. And that was just through through the drip campaigns and stuff that Pawtree puts out, different communications that Joey and I put out. And over time, you're going to see that these people convert. So it's a great tool to really help build your list, which is the number one activity I think you can be doing.
That's awesome. Super powerful, Alex. That's a great tip. A lot of people can, and by the way, I think all the tips you guys are about to share, I would just encourage any of you watching this training just to pick what works for you. And you might try a couple different things and see, and maybe you'll stick with a couple different things, or maybe you'll go to one primary thing. I'll give you a quick one that I have, and then Kathleen, I'm going to come to you next. I feel like you guys probably have the same. So many people that I talk to who have pets don't know anything about Pawtree, and people love to talk about their pets. So they'll start talking about their, what the fun things, but it's very natural to kind of turn to some of the challenges or the frustrations, or my pet's got this issue or that issue. And so I tell people that filling out a pet profile is like a private consultation with the best and brightest minds in animal nutrition, vets, PhDs, formulators, scientists, etc., all gathered around one table, learning about your pet, and then making a customized and personalized recommendation for your pet. Wow. Like, who wouldn't want to do that? Who wouldn't pay money to do that? And that's basically what this tool is. And I mean, it's that simple. So that's a lot of times the way I'll get a little bit of interest generated in taking this pet profile is I'll say something like that. And then I'll say, I'd love to send you a link and let you complete a pet profile. And I'd love to follow up and see, what was recommended. And so that's a little fun thing that I've done. I've done that on planes. I've done that at conferences. I've done that with other executives from other companies when we just kind of, it's just a natural thing. Oh, what do you do? What do you do? Oh, this is what I do for work. And it's just very natural. And 2/3 of every single person that all of us talk to have a pet. So it's a pretty target rich environment. Kathleen, I know that from the beginning, you have been very impressed, and others you've talked to, about the customized approach to nutrition. Tell us how you use that phrase or this concept in, again, inviting somebody to take a pet profile. How do you do it? What are your tips?
Well, Roger, what you just said, I might be adopting your words. That was so great. But from the beginning, 9 years ago, this is how I would introduce Patri to others was, I work with a pet nutrition company and we customize nutrition plans for dogs. And back then it was only dogs. Now it's dogs and cats. And people are like, what? What? Tell me more. Tell me more. And so not only do people not know what their dogs need, because that is number one, but so often the people that we all are talking to are either new pet owners or they just got a new puppy. Well, they are clueless. I don't know what to feed. I mean, when I was before Patri, I would go in the store and look at the picture of the dogs and on the bag. And if the bag was pretty and shiny, I'd be like, and I wait for the high price stuff because I'm like, well, if it's expensive, it's got to be good, right? So, but the idea that we can help a new pet owner customize what type of food, how much to feed, what other supplements to keep their pet healthy long term. And the other thing with someone has a new puppy.
Yeah. Tell us a new puppy. What words do you say? How do you get that conversation out? A new pet pro who's going, okay, I get it. I believe the pet profile is a great tool. How do I get them to use it? So take us down the new puppy path.
Okay. So you've got a new puppy. Have you thought about what you're going to feed the puppy and how much you're going to feed the puppy? Mary, let's call her Mary. Mary, have you thought about what you're going to feed Claude, the puppy, the new puppy? Let me share with you that I have a pet health assessment that we can sit down together, or you can fill out on your own, that not only will tell you what food is recommended, what program is recommended for your new puppy, but also give you the guidelines and the roadmap for how much to feed that puppy, because we're clueless. And what you feed your puppy today, maybe in like next month, you're going to have to feed a little different because your puppy's growing. So this is not only a health assessment for today, but this health assessment will take you down the growth road with your puppy, because you can get in here and update the age, update the weight.
Yep.
Very simple. It goes along with the life of your puppy.
This is awesome because it really does. It helps that brand new, like in your case, Alex is talking about maybe more, digital type communication. You're talking about that interaction with a brand new puppy parent, pet parent, kitten parent that's maybe a little bit feeling like a deer in the headlights also, and not sure what they've just embarked upon, or maybe they've had a puppy in the past, but it's been a long time and they're trying to remember and so it kind of can give that peace of mind. Before I go to Joey and to Amy on the same question, because I think you guys probably have some good words to say too, to get somebody interested in taking the pet profile. I just wanted to say one other thing, Kathleen, underscore something that you said, which I loved. And I just want to point out for everybody, Kathleen said, you can say, let's go here together and fill this out together. Or you can say, here's a link, go fill it out, and then let's check in after you've completed it. And there are pros and cons. You guys probably all can already intuit the pros and the cons. the likelihood of getting an order goes up dramatically if you sit with them on that pet profile and go through with them together. The likelihood of getting them to sit down is a little bit harder, right? Not everybody has the time or the patience or wants to schedule a meeting to sit down on a Zoom or in person and kind of go through that pet profile. So you just have to kind of take the pros and the cons. You know, Alex, his effort to post something and say, hey, go complete a link, you know, go do this yourself, and he can reach a lot more people that way. And so there's pros to that. He's going to reach a lot more people, probably percentage wise. Fewer of those people are going to, like he said, transact on that. They're going to not just going to fill it out and buy something, but it might take some nurturing and so forth. So there's pros and cons. There's not one right way to do it. But I think if you are, if you've got a target rich person, somebody with a good relationship, somebody that will allow you to, you know, schedule that type of an appointment and say, hey, let's spend 20, 30 minutes and let me just, take you through this pet profile together. I think it's very educational, whether it's because I'm trying to learn and I want to do it together, or it's because I want to help you and I want to do it together. I do think the likelihood of getting an order out of that profile experience goes up dramatically when you do schedule an appointment. All right, but let's stick on the topic at hand, which is how do you get people to take these things? Joey or Amy, let's hear from both of you.
Well, a lot of times what I'm doing is I'm asking lots of questions to my prospect, depending on what kind of issues they're dealing with. But it never fails. These words usually come out of my mouth of, well, hey, let's just take 10 minutes. We'll have you fill out a customized pet nutrition plan. It's designed by veterinarians and nutritionists, and they can tell you exactly what your pet's going to need. Because Alex and I, we do actually talk to quite a few people about food, because I do deal with a lot of allergies. And so if they are open to looking at a new food, then a lot of times hey, how much this seems kind of expensive. How am I going to be able to afford this? And what I like to be able to show them is, hey, if you fill out this customized pet nutrition plan designed by veterinarians and nutritionists, they'll actually tell you also how much you should be feeding. And we can compare that to what you're currently doing. And so they go through, they fill it out. I get to see the results. And then I can say, hey, you're feeding 4 cups of this food. You only need 2 of Pawtree's. So then it's actually a way that I can sell. I can do some upselling as well on different things if they're interested in the food. But those, in some phrase like that, that's what comes out of my mouth almost every time I talk to someone.
That is beautiful. I want to point out something that Joey said. She said, "Are you open to?" And that's a great question. First of all, because most people don't really want to be closed. They don't want to feel like they're closed-minded to things. But it's also a good indicator because not everybody is open to changing their pet food. And so if you ask that question, "Are you open to, you know, to considering changing your pet food?" And if they say not really, you know, pet food is one of those things that's kind of like religion and politics. And, you know, when people have really strong opinions, probably debating them on something they feel really strongly about is not going to be a good use of your time or effort. And so it's kind of nice to know going in if somebody's open to, and if they aren't, there are plenty of other things we could talk about that don't have to be food. And if they are open to it, it's good to know as you kind of head into it. So I love those words. A lot of great words to say there, Joey. Thank you. Amy, how about you? How do you get somebody enticed to say, yes, let me go complete a pet profile?
I mean, I think people want to know you care. So back to what Joey said, you have to ask questions first. It can't just be, oh, your pet's itchy, go fill out this pet profile. Ask questions. Well, how is this making you feel? What have you tried so far? How long has this been going on? Like when you're asking those genuine questions about the pets and about the person, now they know that you're invested and you care about them. And then I love where you can get to the part and say, you know, okay, I have an idea of some suggestions, but we have this really great tool, and it's actually going to make sure that even what I have in my head is right. It's created by veterinarians and nutritionalists. It's going to create a custom plan. I would love to have you go fill that out so we can get a deeper look and a better look at what would be perfect for your pet. Are you open to that? And then moving them along. And another one, we keep talking about food here. What's so great is how often do we hear, I have a new puppy, but I also have this 3-4-year-old dog, and the adult dog wants the puppy food and the puppy wants the adult food, and I'm buying all of these mixes of stuff, right? And you're like, huh, well, that's interesting. Did you know with Pawtree you can feed them the same food? What? Yeah, well, let's get you on a pet profile and let's see what our system recommends for both your puppy and for your adult food. For your adult, you're going to feed your puppy more because it probably needs more for nutritional reasons, but you can feed your pets the same food so everyone's happy. What? Are you serious? Yeah, absolutely. But let's see what's most recommended. And it takes the stress off of us as the pet pros. I'm not going, okay, so this one's a Shih Tzu and this one's a Lab and this one's 2 and this one's 4 months. And what's going to be recommended? You tell the system, the Lab and the Shih Tzu are going to share food. What is the best recommendation? I don't have to be an expert. The system's going to do that. And that alone, when I tell people that they can get one food for the puppy and the adult, their mouths drop. They're like, what? That's a thing? Yeah. Puppy food is the same as adult food. You just feed more. You don't have to have it separate. So yeah, but I think questions is so important
Love
because
it.
even to get them to go to the profile, they need to feel like you're investing in them, you're interested in them, you have their best interest at heart. And the way to do that is to ask those deeper questions. And then plus this way too, you're learning. If they're not willing to go fill out the pet profile and yet they're telling you, oh my gosh, we're exhausted because we're getting no sleep due to itching. And they're telling you all these issues and you're like, well, I'd love to help you with that. And, a lot of times they have to just say it out loud. You know what I mean? Even if they're typing it back to you, they're like, oh, this is really stressing me out, which again is going to help them to take the next step.
Love it, love it. That is such good advice. You guys all are clearly using this tool in so many remarkable ways. These are such great tips. And I would just, before we shift to our third and final topic, which is really any tips for actually completing the pet profile while you're doing it and anything, to help that process be more efficient. I would just say the pet profile works for all kinds of prospects because even if somebody's like, well, I don't really have any issues, I don't have any concerns with my pet. I love my pet. Then the approach can be more of a, wouldn't you love to just kind of have all that information in one place and see if there's anything that could be, new insight on nutrition that might impact your pets that, again, back to this very focused nutritionist, PhDs, animal science, et cetera, who can provide insight about your pet. Wouldn't you love just the free consult? And what happens with those people who don't think they have any issues, I think Amy might have said it earlier, I apologize who said it, but a lot of times you don't know what issue you have until you start getting in there and you recognize, oh, wait, bad gas is an issue. I just assumed every pet has bad gas. Oh, excessive shedding is an issue. I just thought every pet sheds or whatever. And it's like you start to get in there and realize, oh, wait, there are solutions for some of these things I've just been living with. I don't have issues with my pet because I don't have to take it to the vet. I don't have to do certain things, but there are nuances that I'm like, I'd just soon not have smelly breath, but I just deal with it. And it's like, oh, I don't have to deal with it. So even people who don't think they have an issue are wonderful targets to complete the pet profile. And the opposite is 100% true. If somebody tells me, and I'm sure you guys have all met somebody like this, where you get talking about their pet and they say, oh, I've got just such a difficult pet. I love my pet so much, but they have this and that, and we can never find a good food, and we do steroid shots, and they just list put on the laundry list of things that they're either frustrated with, concerned about, or having to deal with. Even though they love their pet, to me, that's a very target rich. I kind of go to the opposite extreme. I say, look, let's do this pet profile. You are going to thank me for it. Take the pet profile. And then I go to something that I call the Patri Pet Reset. And I say, look, if you've had this many issues with your pet, I can sense the despair in your voice and in your body language, right? You're like, I've tried everything. I've done everything. We don't know what to do with this pet. I just say, take the Patri Pet Reset, go to the pet profile, fill out the information about your pet, order exactly what it recommends that you order. Feed nothing else to your pet other than anything that comes with a Patri name for at least 30 days, better even 90 days. So the food, our treats, if you're going to feed treats, feed our treats, or you don't have to feed treats, but don't feed other treats. If you're going to any of our nutritional supplements that are recommended, take them, use them. The food has to be our food. Food is the foundation of good health. That could be the center problem with what you're dealing with. try whatever is recommended. And if it works, you will thank me and your pet will for the rest of your life. And if it doesn't work, we will give you 100% of your money back and consider it a free test for 30 to 90 days. That's the Patri Pet Reset. But you got to promise me you won't use anything else other than Patri and do it for at least 30, but better 90 days. And that's the promise all of us can make, because that's part of our 90-day money back guarantee. And I can assure you, with all of the times I've done that personally and all the times I've heard of other people doing that, the results work. And that's why we put our money where our mouth is, because we know if somebody, especially when somebody's having that many issues, the chances that it's central to the nutrition, to what they're ingesting in that pet, is almost 100%. And we know that everything we will put into that pet will be high quality, incredibly efficacious. And if we let that pet profile do its work, again, that consult with those wonderful professionals saying, okay, that's what you're telling me about your pet. Well, then we need this, 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 and this. And when you attack it that way, it will work, and you change lives that way. And by the way, once they get through that first curve, maybe then they start to dial something back. They say, okay, maybe I don't need to feed every supplement every day, or maybe I can, adjust something so it's not so expensive if they try everything that is recommended. But at the beginning, that's what I say. That's the Patri Pet Reset. So any other thoughts, you guys, before we go into our last topic, which is how to help people move through the pet profile and get some success with an order? Should we go to that?
Sure.
All right.
Let's go.
Let's go. So when you are in the process, and you can either, again, as Kathleen mentioned, you can do that with them. You can say, let's do this together. It's my preference. It's just not always the way it can work in people's busy lives. But or if you say, go complete the pet profile and let's talk about, send me a screenshot of the recommendation, or we can talk about, the recommendation after. There's a couple places that people can get tripped up. And so we've got some thoughts together here to share with you guys to help you not get tripped up. And the first one is when you get to the food recommendation. Now, we talked earlier, food is one of those topics that some people are very, very opinionated about. They may be right, they may be wrong. It doesn't matter. It's their opinion. And if somebody is a 10 out of 10 on their opinion, I would not waste a moment trying to talk them off of a 10. Even if they're wrong. Like, it's okay to let them be wrong, but not waste your time and energy trying to convince them that you're right. So one of the great tips that I have found over the years is just to ask somebody when you get to the part of the food recommendation, and you just say, hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you right now with, how happy are you and your pet right now with the food that you're feeding? And if they're like an 8, 9, or 10, you could ask them, are you open? I like that question, Joe. Are you open to considering changing your food? And then you're going to know. And if they're not open, if they're a 10 and they're not open, just say, okay, well, those are some options we can consider. Let's keep going on with the pet profile and not get too bogged down explaining every chapter and verse of every food we have and all the qualities and how your pet this and how it's like, look, they're just probably not in a position right now. So that's the first tip. We lead with food because food is the foundation of good health. And we know that we can solve so many of the issues that people have if they will be on our high quality food. But we also are smart enough to know and intuitive enough to know as human individuals that if somebody's kind of got their mind made up, you're probably not going to change it on a topic of pet food in the course of 30 seconds. So that's the first tip. Get kind of triage that pet food scenario and decide if that's worth. And again, if they're a 7 or lower on how happy they are with their current food, or if they say, yes, I'm open, of course, then spend some time on food. There's a lot that we can do to impact pets and people's lives on food. Anything anybody wants to say about the food section before we go on to the issues in the supplements section of the profile?
I think letting people know they have options too, because especially if they've chosen raw at all, then the freeze-dried raw is going to come up first. And so if they have a 200-pound Great Dane and that raw comes up and says, you need 20 bags a month, or I'm guessing here, you know what I mean? Letting them know, whatever comes up first, there is a link directly under that they can click on that says other recommendations to view other items. Because sometimes one might not, make good economic sense for the family, but let
Yep.
people know we're not saying this is the only option you should do for food. You have other options. And
Very
again,
smart.
if they say, "Oh, I'm just not sure," well, let's just move past food. Because what I have found personally is once people try our products and they see how well the products work, then they're like, okay, synergistically, I want my pet to be on all of these things. So sometimes food's not going to be the first one, and they might be closed off to food initially, but if you can get them to see the value in the supplements, then you can revisit food later on. So
Love it.
yeah, don't get hung up on there, and don't get hung up on the first thing it shares. You can go down and you can choose other options as well. So I think that's
Good
important to know
advice. Good advice. And anything else on just the topic of food and not getting stuck there, helping, but not getting stuck. Joey, I liked what you said too about the price per day. That's a good point
Yeah.
because some people do get stuck on the price per bag. And what we all know, you guys all know, maybe a new pet pro doesn't know yet, but you'll learn it right now, is our food is very nutritionally dense. And so the far majority of people that I have come across over the years will actually feed less of the pottery food than they do whatever they were feeding before. So if they're comparing bag to bag or pound to pound, it's not the right comparison because you'll actually need to feed less of our product. So even if our product might be more expensive, which it may or may not, it may not actually be more expensive on a cost per day to feed. But any other thoughts on anything about the food? And then we'll go on to the other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, some things that I really like. I mean, I don't remember which recipes they are, but there's the ones that are like $107 dollars for the 30 pounds of food. Well, basically that breaks down just because I've done the math so many times. It's like $1 per cup. So I just kind of know because I've done so many pet profiles and Alex has helped me with a lot of math that if this is one that they're looking at, I can say, oh, well, it shows that, you only need a half cup. So that's going to be like 50 cents a day. And they're like, what? I can feed this really amazing food for 50 cents per day. Like then it becomes okay, that's good. Or even if it's $1 or $1.50 or $2. Like
That's
if you
right.
can break it down and by doing the pet profile and looking at the food of how many cups they're gonna need, and they're like, wait, is that twice per day? Nope, that's once per day.
That's
Total for the whole day. So
yeah.
I love being able to just kind of, if people are open to it, being able to break that down for them because there is that barrier, that objection, but going through the pet profile and seeing those things, it really does show people how affordable pottery really can be.
Love it. I love breaking that down in that cost per day also because it helps, even if you have a big dog, which it wouldn't be 50 cents per day for a 80-pound dog, but how many of you have an 80-pound child that you think you could feed for 50 cents a day or $3 a day, right? So it actually makes a ton of sense when you think, yeah, I've got an 80-pound creature here that has the same, body systems that needs to be supported with calories and quality and ingredient, and all of the in protein and so it really does. I think, putting things in perspective for people to help them understand you can't expect to feed junk and have a high quality life. You can't expect to feed junk and not experience issues. And we're not out to judge anybody. Like I said at the beginning, I think people are doing the best they can. They love their pets. They want to help their pets. People are on budgets. They're doing the best they can. And we actually have a solution that can help the quality, the quantity, and also, generally speaking, can be less costly. And because they feed less than they do other products, and or keeps them out of the vet offices and have a higher quality of life. So good stuff. All right, should we go to anything else, or should we go to the last section?
One more quick thing, and Joey
Okay.
reminded me of it. Also, when we're talking about value, she was referring immediately to the extra large, right? Well, when someone has a smaller dog, all they're going to see is just the one bag, and it's going to say $55 or whatever. So to Joey's point too, pointing out to people, oh, $55 for a 10-pound bag. Well, would you feel better if it was under $40 a bag? Well, yeah, that'd be great. Okay, here's how you can do that. If you get an extra large bag, it's 3 bags. It's going to last you 6 months because you have this little frou-frou dog. Don't open the other bags so they stay fresh for you, but you're going to save on shipping. You're going to save $10 to $15 per bag. So remember to look at things like that as well. When someone's like, oh my gosh, this much, what would you like to save? And instead of immediately jumping and explaining how large, medium, or regular large and extra large works, say, would you like to save $10 to $15 per bag? Who's going to say no to that? Yeah, yes,
Right.
please. Great. Here's how this works. So you're going to spend more upfront. And then also, guys, if they're getting 20% off that first order, that immediately puts them into that $100 plus tier. So now it's significantly less as well. So just remembering how that works and remember the ways you can save people money.
You know, one thing that I'll add to that, we actually have designed the algorithm to try to help people be in a roughly a 30-day cycle. And so although you can, you know, say to somebody, hey, why don't, instead of getting one bag every 30 days, get, you know, 3 bags every 90 days or 6 months or whatever. And you can do that, and it does accomplish what Amy just said. So I do validate that. It does accomplish a cheaper, you know, kind of cost per day. But I would also just let you guys know there is method to the madness of having the cycle be about a monthly cycle. Many purposes to that. One is because a lot of people do their consumer shopping about once a month. And so if they're going to be in stores or looking at things or online or other places, you don't want to take them out of our brand and your experience because they're in the middle of shopping for something else and they say, oh, I'll get this thing because I'm in between, you know, my 6 month cycle at Pottery. Second thing is just the overall health for the pet. So sometimes what people will do if they go to those longer cycles is they'll focus their cycle on the food, but most people are not going to order 6 months worth of supplements or 6 months worth of other things. And so what ends up happening is they sub-optimize on those because they probably don't set up another cycle for those. And so that can compromise a little bit on the quality of the health because they maybe say, well, I'll get these and I'll use them, you know, as long as they last, and then they don't use them the rest of the time. And then the third thing, which is really more for you guys, not so much the pets and the pet parents, but is the commissions, because keeping them in something close to a 30 or 60-day cycle allows you to keep that in your PV cycle and not be like, wow, what happened? Last month I made money, this month I didn't make money. So all of those reasons are combined why it's never an exact science, because every pet's family is a different total pounds of weight and a different, you know, customized nutrition plan. So literally some people's Easy Ship are set up every 20 days and some are set up every 120 days. But we try in our algorithm to say, okay, if this is this much weight in pet, then we should recommend the large food, not the extra large, or the regular bag instead of the large. And that tries to get people into a cycle that's, you know, 30-ish days. So just so you know, that actually is part of our thinking, and with lots of rationale behind that. So, all right, let's go into the last tip I think that we had, which is, so we talked about how to not, or not the last tip, actually. We've talked about how to not get stuck on food. Let's talk about we got 2 more tips on this. This next one is how to understand that primary issue that they are dealing with and use that as a way to hopefully at least get an order today. And of course, the order helps you with your PV and your commissions, but the order also helps that pet get something that's going to help them solve that issue and helps that pet parent to get something to solve that issue. So it really is about trying to get action today. And when you guys go to after you do the food recommendation, the very next thing is the first primary issue that they check. The first thing that they said, you know, if I have any issue with my pet today, it's this. And so I'm going to go back to what Amy said. I loved, Amy, when you said earlier, ask questions. So when you get to that part of the pet profile where it's the primary issue that they are dealing with, that first one that they talked about, if you can help solve that issue, you're going to change their life, their pet's life, and your life in the process. And so I would just ask some questions. So tell me about that. Looks like you checked, you know, itchy skin as an issue, and it looks like it's recommending the Wild Alaskan Salmon Oil for these reasons. It'll be right there to read it to them. Tell me about the itchy skin. What is, you know, is that daily? Is it weekly? Is it, you know, and when they tell you about it and you listen and you understand how that's impacting their life, oh, that itchy skin is keeping us up at night. The pet sleeps at the foot of the bed, and so it itches all night, and me and my spouse, don't get a good sleep, and then we argue the next day and we're late to work. Like, you just see the dominoes, right? It's like, oh my gosh, that sounds miserable. And you can empathize with them. And it may not be that dramatic, but the point is you can understand how that issue is affecting their life. And then you can ask the magic question: if I can help you solve that issue today, are you open to that? Are you open to trying something to solve that? And again, if they've had even the remoteness of angst over this thing, the answer is going to be yes. And so that tells you that is the lowest level of order you should kind of settle for on that pet profile, right? If they've got an issue and they said they're open to it, and if it recommended wild Alaskan salmon oil to solve that issue, that is your absolute, I'm not leaving this conversation without you ordering that product and helping that pet and helping yourself. So we're going to go on to how to then get to the upsell to if that's the bare minimum, what is the maximum, or how do you get to the upsell? But those are some of my thoughts on how to take that issue and really hone in with good questions, good empathy, and make that the one thing, if nothing else, if you get nothing else out of that, conversation in terms of an order or an impact on the pet, that should be the low-hanging fruit. Any thoughts on that, you guys?
Not really. I think the whole idea is at that point, it's an emotional conversation. And the customer, the prospect, is feeling the angst because you're talking to them. And if Amy uses the words a lot, how you feel about that? And then to move on and then say, well, okay, let's look. Then I would want to recommend, let's take a look at some other things. You mentioned this, you mentioned this. Then that's where that would be the upselling that you mentioned, Roger, and that we
Yeah.
talked about. Yeah.
Well, well, let's go to that then, the upselling. So again, if you think about the flow of this, don't get stuck on food. Food is incredibly important. If they're open to food, absolutely take it and run, because food is the foundation of good health, but don't get stuck on it. Second is take advantage of this primary issue, these issues, and what was the main thing that they checked, that because when they go through the process, we ask them, what is the main issue? We say, well, we can come back and add more later, but we purposely get the first one so that you have that tool to say, if I could help you solve the most important problem, would that be something you're open to trying? And then you go to the upsell, and I think there are several ways, and you guys are pros at this, so I'm going to let you guys talk about this, but I'll just say it just to set the context, and then you guys, tell us your words to say. How do you do this in a wonderful, tactful, consultative manner? But we have several ways to help get somebody to say, maybe I should try more than less. One is, of course, our 20% off. If you have over $100, it's 20% off, and there's no limit to how much. So you might as well try as much as you can, because you can only use that 20% off one time, and this is the time. Another one is the free shipping, right? By adding qualifying items to make sure that you meet the threshold for free shipping. And of course, the other one is just, hey, if these are other issues that your pet is dealing with, you might as well try them all and see how they work, because we have a 100% money back guarantee. So you're not literally out anything. You can get all your money back if you're not happy with any of it. So it makes when you get to that last part of, how big do you want your order to be, you've got lots of tools at your fingertips to help, kind of overcome an objection if somebody thinks, well, I don't want to spend that much money. You've got some wonderful tools there. So any other tips you guys use as you get to kind of that close to checkout process that help people, make that decision either to put more in their cart and try more, or even just to make that decision to go for it and put their credit card in and buy the products?
Well, I think you covered it with those three, but I lead with the guarantee. So we've already looked at the products. We have everything we're looking at. Normally, we're going to go to that hotspot item, right? Like the major issue. You're starting there, and then before I talk about the other products, I'm going to say, now just a reminder, everything we have to offer has an unconditional 90-day guarantee. So if you're not happy, we're going to make it right. So we know that we want to try the salmon oil. You're getting your first time customer discount. It's a one-time use. So, you know, I can save you 10% on this order, or if you want to try these items for this purpose, like reiterate the pain point. If you want to go ahead and try that chillax as well, because 4th of July is coming up, this is a really great time to save and to get that order up. And so, but like I said, I kind of start with the guarantee. So that way I'm
like
getting
that.
the objection right off the bat before we even get there. It's like, don't forget about our guarantee. And would you like to use this discount to be able to save more right off the bat? So but again, it's hitting the pain points. What problems are we solving for people? And you're solving a problem. You're also saving them money. And a lot of times, even when it comes to the Easy Ship, I won't go immediately into all the perks of Easy Ship. I will just say, okay, well, you've got 3 items. Would you like free shipping today? Well, heck yeah, I want free shipping. And you say, okay, so here's how this works. And then you go into that. So rather than just, well, we have this really great flexible Easy Ship program, and you can do this and this and this, and you're going to get free or discounted shipping. Just ask. Would you like, we've got 2 items. Would you like 25%?
Oh, I like that.
Or actually, I can even give you free shipping if you want to go ahead and pick the treats that you were talking about. Well, sure. And then, so here's how this works. And then you explain it.
Love
But especially guys, if they say no, don't be afraid when you get to checkout to go, you know, your shipping right now is $10.99. A bottle of pop herrings is only $15.99. Would you rather spend $11 on shipping, or would you rather spend $5 more, $4 more, and get a bottle of pop herrings and get free shipping? You know, so don't be afraid to, even if they've said no, when you get to the end and you see it, don't be afraid to just one line. And we're not talking about pushing or pressuring, but point it out, like literally say, this is what you're paying in shipping. Do you want to pay shipping, or would you like a bottle of pop herrings for a few dollars more? Oh, throw the pop herrings in there, you know? So,
Really good tips. These are fantastic, Amy. I love that. I mean, just, yeah, very natural. I mean, I think what is interesting about all of your approaches is it's very natural. It's wonderful to have some tips and some guidelines and some frameworks, which is what we're trying to provide for all of you guys today. But also wonderful just to be your natural self and have conversations, you know, ask questions. It's just a very natural process. Who else has something that you do on the close to help, you know, somebody
well,
move to action?
I was going to mention, you know, when we talk about the main issue, which I love, that I wanted to mention, and we did mention, but I wanted to say it again, that is literally printed. That is front and center on the pet profile for you all new pet pros. Remember that main issue, the product, the solution that we have is right there in front. So it won't be hard for you to talk about that. But then you certainly want to say, or have a discussion about, well, let's take a look. You mentioned some other things here. Let's take a look at how you can solve those issues. You mentioned, and you might review each of the issues and ask, you know, tell me a little bit about that. How serious is that? And you know, you can, and that's where then you could walk into the 3 items, Easy Ship. But you don't want to leave the pet profile without reviewing all of the products that are solutions for the issues that are important to that person, to that customer. And have a little discussion. Doesn't have to be 30 minutes, but a short discussion about each one. And honestly, sometimes, of course, we don't want to get too detailed. That other issue might be related to the main issue too.
Very true. Very, very true. Those are great tips, Kathleen. Joey, Alex, anything else you guys would add to the close?
Yeah, there's one thing that I want to add, because I think it's very interesting how all of us have a different approach, but it's all very similar. And Roger, as you were talking about, you know, people select an issue and, oh, tell me more about that. What I think is interesting is, because again, Joey and I are using social media, we're oftentimes leading with an issue, and we talk about our dogs and our dogs' allergies a lot. So when people then, you know, are coming from one of our videos or some of our content to fill out a pet profile, they're most likely already like relating to us in a sense that, hey, my dog has allergies, it's got the red itchy skin, it's got ear issues. And we might talk about a product or two in the video, but when they go fill out the pet profile, it's now it's now recommending and raising awareness of like, oh, there is an ear wash and dry, or there is something. So the pet profile, just again, because we're kind of addressing people in the masses, and we do try and build relationships with people on the back end and drip on them and stuff. But the fact that the pet profile does help recommend that is a great tool for us. But again, as a new pet pro, you're not gonna have all this, the same product knowledge that the five of us all have. So it makes it super simple.
Love it. That's great advice, great feedback. Joey.
Yes. Okay. So the one thing that I really love are the bundles. The bundles. So like
Let's
Alex
talk
said, we
about the
do
bundles.
yes, the bundles. So a lot of them already have 3 items in there. So boom, right there, 3 items, free shipping. And so a lot of times if I'm looking at the pet profile, and as a new pet pro, even if you aren't sure, this is a great time to jump on your website and be looking, like search allergies, see what all comes up for allergies. If that's what if it showed up on their recommendations. Because it was itches and twitches, but now it's the allergy bundle. But I love leading with that. Like this is the bundle that really helped my dog. And so especially this is why we really talk with you guys on trying out the products yourself. And so that you can say this bundle really helped my dog with their allergies, with their anxiety. And so it's a way that, okay, if they're already looking at the Chillax and the CBD Mega, well, does your dog like to chew? Because we have this really great bundle. It comes with a bone, and it's actually going to save you a little bit of money on top of the 10 and 20% off that I can save you as a new customer. So I really like to but I really like to offer those bundles, because if they have all 3 of those products in there, bundle it. Don't do them separately. Let's save some people some money.
Cool stuff. You guys have great, I mean, it's no surprise that you're so accomplished and successful and having so much success with the pet profile tool, just based on your experience and your commitment to using it. This is so fun. And I really hope that everybody that watched this, I'm sure got multiple tips that they can try. And I would just say, go try something, right? Sometimes you can watch a training and there's so many things that you want to do that it almost paralyzes you because you can't do them well. Just go take a nugget or 2 out of something that somebody said today and go try it and watch how it will help you get more comfortable and more successful as you use this pet profile tool. It really is a game changer. And I hope that you feel better better equipped to know why it's a good tool for you, how to get people engaged to take it, and then how to use it, during the tool to actually generate a sale. Because at the end of the day, that's where we have impact on pets' lives. That's where we have impact on people's lives, is when they try the products. And of course, that's where it has impact on your life and your commissions when people try the products. So we do want people to try the products. Well, you guys, thank you so much for taking this time. This is awesome, and can't wait to see how we can empower more pet pros to use this wonderful tool, the Pet Profile. And with that, we'll sign out until next time. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.